Hebrews. This is Israel Wake Up. This is our Thursday night class, special class. And it's for the we're having a uncomfortable conversation with a non-Messianic Hebrew Israelite, and it's pertaining to Esau and the question that the Lord of hosts posed in Obadiah when he said that, do you understand the deep things of Esau? Okay, and it says, which goes as such: if these thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, how are I cut off? Would they not have stolen till they had enough? If grape gatherers came unto thee, would they not have left some grapes? How are the things of Esau sought out? How are his hidden things sought up? Okay, so what we're dealing with on this episode, episode 11, of Uncomfortable Conversation with a Non-Messianic Hebrew Israelite, is we're going to answer that question that the Most High posed in Obadiah, verses chapter 1, verses 5 and 6. So, with that being said, I'm going to do a little prayer, and then we're going to get into this. Oh Lord, we come before you this Saturday, this day, bow down with great respect for our Redeemer. Lord, you confess through your prophets, Isaiah, you would return us, and that you would pour out your spirit upon us. This you have done, O Lord, in great fashion. Because of this, O Lord, we have found you within your holy scriptures. Great is the counsel and mighty is thy works, for thine eyes are upon all the ways of men, to give everyone according to his ways and according to his fruit of his doings. O Lord, behold, thou hast made the heavens and the earth by thy great power and stretched out arm, and there is nothing too hard for thee. Knowing all these things, O Lord, we eagerly await thy coming, the day in which thou wilt break the yoke of our oppressors and deliver us. Peace be unto you. Okay? Okay, just like I had said, the Lord of hosts posed a question in Obadiah chapter 1, verses 5 through 6. And so what we're going to do now is proceed forward to answer this question in order that all the waking Hebrew Israelites may understand and make the adjustments. Okay? So in order to do that, we got to go back to when Jacob received the blessing and the birthright from Isaac. Okay? That's in Genesis chapter 25. You read that. Okay, it says Genesis 25, 29 to 34. It says, let me see that. It's 25. Okay, so what we're going to read right here is where Jacob received his birthright from his Esau. Esau was the firstborn. So it says, Jacob, uh, Jacob saw pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom. And Jacob said, sell me this day thy birthright. And Esau said, behold, I am at the point to die. And what profit shall this birthright do me? And Jacob said, swear to me this day. And he swore unto him, and he sold his birthright unto Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of winter, and he did eat and drink, and rose up and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright. So when you understand what the birthright is, it's the firstborn. And so when it comes time for the father to pass, then the firstborn son received all that's his. The other kids get gifts, but the firstborn receives the father's inheritance. But Esau didn't care about that. So what I just read was he sold his birthright for a bowl of pottage from his brother Jacob. And so what you have to do as the story goes on and unfolds, remember that he sold it outright to his brother Jacob and for a bowl of pottage. Okay, that was for the birthright. Now I'm going to go deal with the blessing. This is Genesis chapter 27. Okay, and I'm going to start reading it. I'm going to read verses 1 through 30. It says, and it came to pass that when Isaac was old and his eyes were dim, so that he could not see, he called Esau, his eldest son, and said unto him, my son. And he said unto him, behold, here I am. And he said, behold, how am I old? He said, behold, now I am old, and I know not the day of my death. Now therefore take, I pray thee, thy weapons, thy quiver and thy bow, and go out to the field, and take me some venison, and make me savory meat, such as I love, and bring it unto me, that I may eat, that my soul may bless thee before I die. And Rebekah heard when Isaac spake to Esau his son, and Esau went to the field to hunt for venison and to bring it. And Rebekah spake unto Jacob her son, saying, behold, I heard thy father speak unto Esau thy brother, saying, bring me venison and make me savory meat, that I may eat. Excuse me, and bless thee the Lord before my death. Now therefore, my son, obey my voice according to that which I command thee. Go now to the flock and fetch me from thence 2 good calves of goats, 2 good kids of goats, and I will make them savory meat for thy father, such as he loved. And thou shalt bring it to thy father, that he may eat, and that he may bless thee before his death. And Jacob said unto Rebekah his mother, behold, Esau my brother is a hairy man, and I am a smooth man. My father peradventure will fill me, and shall seem to him as a deceiver, and I shall bring a curse upon me, and not a blessing. And his mother said unto him, upon me be thy curse. My son, only obey my voice, and go fetch me then. And he went and fetched and brought them in to his mother. His mother made savory meat, such as his father loved. And Rebekah took goodly raiment of her eldest son Esau, which were with her in the house, and put them upon Jacob, her younger son. And she put the skins of the kid of the goat upon his hands, and upon the smooth of his neck. And she gave the savory meat and the bread which she had prepared into the hands of her son Jacob. And he came unto his father and said, my father. And he said, here I am. Who art thou, my son? And Jacob said unto his father, I am Esau, thy firstborn, and I have done according as thou hast badest me. Arise, I pray thee, sit and eat my venison, that my soul may bless me. And Isaac said unto his son, how is it that thou hast found it so quickly, my son? And he said, because the Lord thy God brought it to me. And Isaac said unto Jacob, come near, I pray thee, that I may feel thee, my son, whether thou be my very son Esau or not. And Jacob went near unto the Isaac, his father, and he felt him, and said, the voice is Jacob's voice, but the hands are the hands of Esau. And he discerned him not, because his hands were hairy, as his brother Esau's hands. So he blessed him. And he said, art thou my very son Esau? And he said, I am. And he said, bring it near to me, that I will eat of my son's venison, that my soul may bless thee. And he brought it near to him, and he did eat. And he brought him wine and drank, and he drank. And his father Isaac said unto him, come near now, and kiss me, my son. And he came near and kissed him, and he smelled the smell of his raiment, and blessed him, and said, see, the smell of my son is as the smell of the field which the Lord hath blessed. Therefore God give thee of the dew of heaven, and the fatness of the earth, and plenty of corn and wine, and let people serve thee, and nations bow down to thee. Be Lord over thy brethren, and let thy mother's son bow down to thee. Curse be everyone that curseth thee, and blessed be everyone that blesseth thee. So we see right here that Jacob received his blessing, and Isaac is under the assumption that this is Esau, but it's Jacob. So what you have to understand about this particular situation right here, the reason that Rebecca did that was, if you go back to Genesis 25, when they were born. I mean, Genesis 25, it says, these are the generations of Isaac, Abraham's son. Abraham begot Isaac, and Isaac was 40 years old. He took Rebekah, the wife, the daughter of Becca, the Syrian of Canaran, the sister of Laban the Syrian. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife, because she was barren. And the Lord was entreated of him, and Rebekah's wife conceived. So she conceived these, she had twins, right? And 22 says, and the children struggled together within her, and she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord. And the Lord said unto her, two nations are in thy womb, and two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. And one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. So she was having all kind of problems with her pregnancy, and she didn't understand why. So because these two boys are struggling from day one in her womb. So when you understand what is being said in verse 22, it says, the children struggle together within her. And she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord. The only way a woman can inquire of the Lord is she has to go to the prophet and get him to inquire of the Lord for him. Same way when Israel became a nation, they had to go to the priest. The Pharaoh had to get Joseph to go to inquire of the Lord for him. You couldn't go inquire of himself. So when Rebecca went to go inquire of the Lord, why? She went to Abraham. And Abraham went and sought the Lord, and the Lord told him what to do. He told him what was going on with Esau. And the reason why Rebecca was waiting for the commandments she had got from Abraham to do what she done with Jacob, not for Jacob to receive the blessing. That's why she's doing it. And so you find that in the book of Jasher, when it expounds on that, it tells you what Abraham told her and why, and told her to, when the time came it was time for Isaac to die, or to be gathered to his fathers, for her to do that with Jacob, because Esau was wicked as hell, Isaac had loved Esau, and he was gonna bless him, even though he was wicked as hell. So Abraham told her what to do, and so she performed that down to the T, and Jacob received the blessing. So we're gonna read those last couple of verses again, so because it's gonna come into play later on. It says Genesis 27, Genesis 27, verse 27. And he came near, kissed him, and he smelled the smell of his raiment, and he blessed him and said, see, the smell of my son is as the smell of the field which the Lord hath blessed. Therefore, God give thee this what he the blessing he gave you. Therefore, God give thee of the dew of heaven and the fatness of the earth, and plenty of corn and wine, and let people serve thee, and nations bow down to thee. Be Lord over thy brethren. So right here, he got a yoke on Esau's neck because of Isaac just blessed him and told him he's going to be Lord over all his brothers. It says, and let thy mother's son, Esau, bow down to thee. Cursed be everyone that curses thee, and blessed be everyone that blesses thee. So, by the time he got the blessing and they just left, Esau showed up. And so, we're going to see what happened because this got a lot to do with the enmity and the drama that's going on with the two boys, Jacob and Esau. Verse 30 says, and it came to pass, Genesis 27 and 30. And it came to pass as soon as Isaac had made an end of blessing Jacob, Jacob was yet scarce gone from the presence of Isaac his father, that Esau his brother came in from hunting. And he also had made savory meat. And he brought it unto his father and said unto his father, let my father arise and eat of his son's venison, that my soul may bless me. And Isaac his father said unto him, who art thou? And he said, I am thy son, thy firstborn son. And Isaac trembled very exceedingly and said, who? Where is he that hath taken venison and brought it to me, and have eaten of all before thou comest, and have blessed him? I have blessed him, yea, and he shall be blessed. And when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with a great and exceedingly bitter cry, and said unto his father, bless me, even me also, my father. And he said, thy brother came with subtlety, and have taken away thy blessing. And he said, it is not he rightly named Jacob, for he hath supplanted me these 2 times. He took away my birthright, and behold, now he hath taken away my blessing. And he said, hast thou not reserved a blessing for me? And Isaac answered and said unto Esau, behold, I have made him thy Lord. I just expounded on that. That means he's subject to Jacob. Esau is subject to Jacob. He got a yoke on his neck. And his brethren have given, and I have given him for servant. And with corn and wine have I sustained him. And what shall I do now with thee, my son? And Esau said unto his father, as thou but one blessing, my father, bless me, even me also. Okay? And bless me even also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling. This is the blessing that he gave, Isaac gave to Esau. He says, behold, thy blessing shall be the fatness of the earth and the dew of heaven from above, and by thy sword thou shalt live and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, and thou shalt have dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. So he says that later on, and you have to remember this, he says that later on, it's going to come a time when he's going to break that yoke off his neck that Isaac put on Esau's neck when he blessed Jacob. He told him that you're going to be Lord over your brothers, and your brothers are going to be your servant. So, okay, so understanding that, we're going to go to, so we see right here where the situation started to get dire because of, first of all, Esau understood that he had sold the birthright because he don't care about the birthright. He wanted the wealth. He wanted the wealth that his father Isaac had and the blessing, but he didn't receive that. Jacob got it because Abraham had already informed Rebekah what she had to do. So now it's some serious tension in between Jacob and Esau. And so we're going to move a little further down the road and we'll go to 27 and get this. Yeah, I just read that. So you see that Jacob is angry because of Esau was angry because of what Jacob had done. When he fooled his father and got the birthright, got the blessing. So I'm gonna go to backtrack a little bit. I'm in chapter 25. This is when they were born. To show you that the image that it started with these two boys from the very beginning. Genesis 25 and 19. These are the generations of Isaac, Abraham's son. Abraham begot Isaac. Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah his wife, the daughter of Bethuel, the Syrian of Canaan, the sister of Laban of Syria. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife because she was barren, and the Lord was entreated of him and Rebekah his wife conceived. And the children struggled together within her. And she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire the Lord. And the Lord said unto her, two nations are in thy womb, two manner of people shall separate from thy bowels, and one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the young. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red. So remember that. The first came out red all over, like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. And after that came out his brother. And his hand took hold of Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old when he bore them. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, and man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man dwelling in the tent. And Isaac loved Esau because he did eat of his venison, but Rebekah loved Jacob. So we see where the conflict came in at when it's time to get the blessing, because Jacob loved, Rebekah loved Jacob, and Esau loved, Isaac loved Esau. And so, like I was saying before, when the Most High passes the blessing on, he causes the blessing to be passed on to the righteous seed. And so he already knowing what Esau was. Esau was wicked as hell. So he informed Abraham to inform Rebekah how Jacob was to receive the blessing. And we just went over that, and so now it's tension between the two of them. So what that does is, so it's a tension. When they was born, and these two boys were born, they were struggling. They was fighting and struggling inside of Rebekah's womb. Then this happened when Jacob received the blessing. So they it's heated. It's heated between the two of them. So what we're gonna do now is go to Jasher. And this is when Isaac when Jacob passed away. And he passed away. He was in Egypt. Joseph had been taken to Egypt, and then Joseph had brought his brothers to Egypt, and they were living in Goshen. And Jacob passed away in Goshen, but they had to bring him back to the cave where Abraham was buried at, and Isaac was buried in, the rest of the patriarchs. So they was bringing him back to the cave, and Esau got a whiff of it. So I'm gonna pick it up right there. Let me get it. It says, okay, Joshua 56. So it says, start at verse 46. It says, and the report reached Esau. Report reached Esau saying, Jacob died in Egypt, and his sons and all Egypt are conveyed him to the land of Canaan and buried him. And Esau heard this thing, and he was dwelling in Mount Seir. And he rose up with his sons and all his people and all his household, the people exceedingly great. And they came to mourn and weep over Jacob. And it came to pass when Esau came, he mourned for his brother Jacob, and all Egypt and all Canaan again rose up and mourned a great mourning with Esau over Jacob in that place. And Joseph and his brethren brought their father Jacob from that place And they went to Hebron to bury Jacob in the cave by his fathers. And they came unto Kirath Abba to the cave. And as they came, Esau stood up with his sons against Joseph and his brethren as a hindrance in the cave, saying, Jacob shall not be buried therein, for he belongeth to us and to our father. And Joseph and his brethren heard the words of Esau's son, and they were exceedingly wroth. And Joseph approached unto Esau, saying, what is this thing which they have spoken? Surely my father Jacob bought it from this for great riches after the death of Isaac. Now 25 years ago, and also the land of Canaan he bought from thee and from thy sons and thy seed after thee. And Jacob bought it for his sons and his seed after him for an inheritance forever. And why speakest thou these things this day? And Esau answered, saying, thou speakest falsely and utterest lies. For I sold not anything belonging to me in all this land, as thou sayest, neither did my brother Jacob buy aught belonging to me in this land. And Esau spoke these things in order to deceive Joseph in his word. For Esau knew that Joseph was not present in those days, and Esau sold all the belongings to him in the land of Canaan to Jacob. So Esau being deceitful, he's trying to recant what happened to him by Jacob when he got the blessing, and he also knowing that Jacob was had been sent away by his brothers, and he was in Egypt, so he didn't have he didn't know what was going on. So in return, I'm picking up at 55, Joshua 56, verse 55. Joseph said unto Esau, surely my father inserted these things with thee in a record of purchase, and testified the record with witnesses, and behold, it is with us in Egypt. And Esau answered, saying unto him, bring the record, all that thou wilt find it in the record, so will we do. And Joseph called unto Naphtali his brother, and he said, hasten quickly, stay not, and run, I pray thee, to Egypt, and bring all the records of the purchase, the sealed records, and the open records, and also all the first records in which all the transactions of birthright are written. Fetch thou, and thou shalt bring them unto us hither, that we may know from them all the words of Esau and his sons which thou spoke this day. And Naphtali hearkened to the voice of Joseph, and he hastened and ran to go down into Egypt. And Naphtali was lighter on feet than any of the stags that were upon the wilderness, for he would go upon the ears of corn. By crushing them. Let me see what I'm doing. Okay. Okay. It says, and all the sons of Jacob and all the people of Egypt fought with Esau and his men. And the sons of Esau and his people were smitten before the sons of Jacob. And the sons of Jacob slew Esau's people, 40 men. And Kishon, the son of Dan, and the son of Jacob, was at the time with Jacob's sons, but he was about 100 cubits distant from the place of the battle. For he remained with the children of Jacob's sons by Jacob's bride to guard it. And Cushan was dumb and deaf. Still he understood the voice of consternation among the men. And he asked, saying, why do you not bury the dead? Why is this great consternation? And they answered him the words of Esau and his sons. And he ran to Esau in the midst of the battle, and he slew Esau with a sword, and he cut off his head, and he sprang to a distance, and Esau fell amongst the people of the battle. And when Kishon did this thing, the sons of Jacob prevailed over the sons of Esau, and the sons of Jacob buried their father Jacob by force in the cave. And the sons of Esau beheld it, and Jacob was buried in Hebron in the cave at Mizpah, which Abraham had bought from the sons of Heth for a possession of a burial place. And he was buried in very costly garments. And no king had such honor paid him as Joseph paid unto his father at his death. For he buried him with a great honor, like unto the burial of a king. Joseph and his brethren made a mourning for 7 days for their father. So, like I said before, they struggle within the womb, being it got even more intensified when Jacob received the birth, received the blessing. And so by the time Jacob passed away, Esau and his sons they had this anger that was out of control. So a war broke out that Jacob buried, and Esau got killed. So now situation even got worse. So we're gonna move on. We're gonna go to 58. And let's see what happened right there. 58. This is in Esau was killed at Jacob's funeral. So now I'm in 58, and we picked up at verse 18. And this is Joseph is in charge in Egypt, and they get into a competition with Esau, and the Egyptians call for the Hebrews to help him. So I'm gonna pick it up. It says, and Joseph went forth with his brethren with the mighty men of Egypt, about 600 men. They fought with them in the land of Ramesses, and the sons of Jacob at that time again fought with the children of Esau in the 5th year of the sons of Jacob, going down into Egypt. That is the 30th year of the reign of Bela over the children of Esau and Seir. And the Lord gave all of the mighty men of Esau and the children of the east into the hand of Joseph and his brethren. And the people of the children of Esau and the children of the east were smitten before Joseph. And the people of Esau and the children of the east that were slain, there fell before the sons of Jacob about 200,000 men. And the king Bela, the son of Beer, fell with them in battle. And the children of Esau saw that their king had fallen in the battle and was dead, that he became weak in the combat. And Joseph and his brethren and all Egypt were still smiting the people of the house of Esau. And all Esau's people were afraid of the sons of Jacob and fled before them. And Joseph and his brethren and all Egypt pursued them a day's journey, and they slew yet of them 300 men, continuing to smite them in the road. And they afterwards turned back from them. And Joseph and his brethren returned to Egypt. Not one man was missing from them, but the Egyptians there fell 12 men. And when Joseph returned to Egypt, he ordered EdomO and his men to be additionally bound. And they bound them in iron, and they increased their grief. And all the people of the children of Esau and the children of the east returned in shame, each unto his city, for all the mighty men that were with them were fallen in battle. So I want to stop right there for a minute because I want to inject something in here. So everybody want to know why the transatlantic slave trade was so grievous, and why we was handled so bad from the middle passage coming from the West Coast. They brought us to the Caribbeans and to Americas, and why was they so hostile? Well, what I just read right here. It was Esau. It was these Edomite Jews that was controlling all the ships that was bringing us over here, and they haven't forgotten nothing. They anger and they content for us go all the way back to all this stuff I'm reading. And so right here, EdomO is Esau's son. Matter of fact, EdomO, we're gonna find out later, EdomO ended up in Chechnya, which is Rome, and he became the king over the Romans. And so that's who Alexander's grandfather is. Alexander is an Edomite, and Alexander's father Philip was an Edomite. So what you come to find out is that the head over the Romans are Edomites. That's the think tank for the Edomite, for the Romans, is the Edomites. And so Joseph, when they conquered the Edomites right here in this fight, he captured EdomO and some of EdomO's men, some of his mighty men, and bound them in chains and took them back to Egypt. But it tells you right here, I'm gonna read it again. This is chapter 58 of Joshua and 24. And when Joseph returned to Egypt, he ought to Zephon his men to be additionally bound. See that? And they bound them in irons, and they increased their grief. Well, that's what they came back. Did the same thing to us. That's why it was so horrendous. Like I say, these people they're all their records. They know exactly who we were. They're the ones who were behind the whole thing. They orchestrated the whole thing. They refuse to leave us be because they know that the blessing is on us. So they're the ones behind all the chaos that's going on with us as Israelites. You have to understand that. So I'm gonna move forward. So I'm gonna this brings us back to Obadiah and the question that the Lord had posed concerning Esau in Obadiah 1 and 5. I'm gonna read it again because this is the central point of the lesson. So it says in Obadiah, it says, I'm gonna start at 1. The vision of Obadiah. Thus says the Lord God concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord, an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee. Though thou dwellest in the cliffs of the rocks, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, said the Lord. This is the question that is posed right here. 5. If thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen till they had enough? If grape gatherers came to thee, would they not have leaved some grapes? How are the things of Esau sought out? How are his hidden things sought out? So we're going to break these two verses down right here. So verse 5 says, if thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? He's posing this question to the Israelites. And he said, would they not have stolen till they had enough? So a regular thief that's, he's in a vineyard. And we know that Israel is a vineyard. And the men of Israel is the grapes. And so he said, if somebody was hungry and needed some grapes and they came into a vineyard, they're just going to steal what they need and leave. But he's telling you right here, if thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they have stolen till they had enough? If grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes? So he's saying that these people right here had a whole other agenda because they got all the grapes. They ain't want to leave no grapes. They took all of them. So what he's telling you is that it's more to it. They ain't just come to steal the grapes. They wanted the vineyard. They wanted everything. And then it was anger and animosity involved in it because they didn't leave no grapes. And so then he goes to verse 6 and says, let you know who it is that done this, who the robber was. He says, how are the things of Esau sought out? How are his hidden things sought out? So just searching out Esau on the surface ain't gonna get the job done. He said in order to understand what Esau done and understand the whole story, you have to go into it, deep into it, because a lot of the stuff that's going on with him is hidden. And so that's what we're going to expose today. Get an understanding of it. Because, Rome is everybody don't understand that the fourth beast is Edom. Rome is Edom. But, very few people know that and very few people understand that. But that's what we're going to clarify tonight. So we're going to go to I'm going to read some more out of Obadiah to make this plain. So he says, all the men, talking about Esau, all the men of that confederacy have brought thee even to the borders. So they brought him to the border of Israel. Okay? And The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. Shall I not in that day, said the Lord, even destroy the wise men out of Edom and the understanding out of the mount of Esau? And thy mighty men, O Timon, shall be dismayed to the end, that every one of Mount Esau, or the mount of Esau, may be cut off by slaughter. And so he's going to explain to you why he asked the question in verse 5 and 6. He said, for thy violence against thy brother, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. In the day that thou stoodest on the other side, in the day that strangers carried away captive his forces, and foreigners entered into his gates, and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even thou was one of them. But thou should not look on the day of thy brother, in the day that he became a stranger, neither should thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction, neither should thou have spoken proudly in the day of their distress. Thou should not have entered into the gates of my people in the day of their calamity. Yea, thou should not have looked on their affliction in the day of their calamity, nor laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity. Neither should thou have stood in the crosshairs to cut off those that did escape. Neither should thou have delivered up those that did remain in the day of stress. So what's being revealed right here is that it goes back to all the things that I just explained to you that Esau had a problem with. He felt like Jacob stole his blessing, which is the land and the wealth that Isaac had, that Isaac received from Abraham. And so he posed the question, what if they were just hungry and they was in a vineyard, they just got some grapes and left the rest and went on. But these people got all the grapes. So we see what he's talking about right here in verse 14, because the Most High, even though Israel was sin against him, he would always leave a remnant, right? But Esau, understanding that because he was raised by Abraham too, he killed the remnant. And so what's being exposed is he wants the land. He's trying to recant the blessing that Jacob stole. So he wants the land that Jacob, he want all the Israelites out. He want the Israelites out, and he wants the land. So let's look at that. Okay, so we're gonna go to I showed you how that Zephano ended up, Joseph died in Egypt. I showed you where Joseph had captured him when they had to fight. He captured him and had him in Egypt the whole time that Joseph was there. Then when Joseph passed away, Zephano was released. And Zephano went to check him, which is wrong. And they made him king over them. Zephano was a mighty man. His mother is a Canaanite woman, a giant. And so he's a mighty man. So they made him king over Checham, which is wrong. Okay? And so when you understand that, he has this hatred in him for the Israelites. That's what brought Alexander to the Middle East. Because his father, Zephano, passed all that hatred on to his son Philip, and Philip passed it on to Alexander. And so that's what brought Alexander to the Middle East. And so I'm picking it up in the Apocrypha. I'm in the first Maccabees. It says, it came to pass after Alexander of Macedon, the son of Philip, who came from the land of Checham, had utterly defeated Darius, the king of the Medes and Persians, that he reigned in his stead, and he had, as he had before reigned over Greece, and he waged many wars, and captured forces and slaughtered the kings of the earth. So what I want you to understand right here is, it tells you that before he reigned over Checham, he reigned over Greece. So that's two different nations within the Japhet lineage. So you say, what are you talking about? Well, Greece is the third beast. And Rome, which is Checham, is the fourth beast. So the Most High says that we're not going to be delivered until the time of the Gentiles is up. They're going to be two Gentiles right there. The third and fourth beast is Gentile. So he says, and he waged many wars and captured fortresses and slaughtered the kings of the earth. And he made his way to the ends of the earth and despoiled a multitude of nations. The whole earth was silent before him, and he became exalted. and his heart uplifted, and he mustered a mighty army and ruled over lands and rulers of the heathens, and they paid him tribute. Afterwards, he fell sick and knew that he was going to die. So he called his distinguished servants who had been brought up with him and divided his kingdom among them when he was still alive. Alexander had reigned 12 years when he died. His servants succeeded him, each in his own dominion after his death. They all put on crowns and did their sons after them for many years, and they did much evil on the earth. And there sprang from them a sinful shoot named Antiochus Epiphanes, the son of King Antiochus. And he had been a hostage in Rome, and he had become king in the 137th year of the Greek kingdom. In those days, there arose out of Israel lawless men who persuaded many, saying, "Let us go and make a treaty with the heathen round about us. For ever since the time that we became separated from them, many misfortunes have overtaken us." The plan seemed good in their eyes, and some of the people went eagerly to the king and authorized them to introduce practices to the heathen. And they built a gymnasium in Jerusalem in the heathen fashion, and submitted to uncircumcision and disowned the holy agreement. They allied themselves with the heathen and became slaves to wrongdoing. So what I'm reading, and the reason I'm reading this is it's tied to Obadiah, what I just read, because the Israelites in Obadiah, Esau came in. Let me read it right quick. So he says in verse 11, he said, "In the day that thou stoodest on the other side, in the day that strangers carried away captive his forces, foreigners entered into the gates and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even thou was one of them," talking about Esau. So these strangers that came in and was carrying away the Israelites is the Greeks, Antiochus Epiphanes. So it says, which is prophesied in Daniel 9:25. He's the prince that came and caused abomination that make it death. And so we pick it up. Well, it says, when his rule appeared to Antiochus, this is the prince in Daniel 9:26. And when his rule appeared to Antiochus to be established, he conceived in his idea of becoming king of the land of Egypt, so that he might reign over two kingdoms. So he entered into Egypt with a strong force, with chariots and elephants, and the cavalry, and a great fleet. And he made war with Ptolemy, king of Egypt. And Ptolemy turned and fled before him, and many fell wounded. And they captured the walled cities of the land of Egypt, and he plundered the land of Egypt. So we've been over this before, but so when you understand this, when the Epiphanes got there, a group of wicked Israelites, they made a treaty with him for 7 years. So after 3.5 years, he seen that he had Judea secured. He left and went to Egypt to conquer Ptolemy, which is one of the 4 generals that took over after split the Greek kingdom up when Alexander died. And so after 3.5 years, after he subdued Egypt, he came back to Judea. This is when the prophecy is fulfilled in Daniel 9:26, 27 and 28. It says, after subduing Egypt in the 143rd year, Antiochus turned back, came up against Israel, entered Jerusalem, just like the prophecy said, with a strong force, and in his arrogance, he went into the sanctuary, took the gold altar and the lampstand for the light, and all the fixtures, and the table for the presentation bread, and the cups and the bowls, and the gold censers, and the curtains, and the crowns, and the gold ornaments on the front of the temple, for he stripped it all off. And he took the silver and the gold, the choice dishes, and he took the secret treasures which he found, and he took them all and went back to his own country. He massacred the people and spoke with great arrogance. There was a great mourning everywhere throughout Israel. Rulers and elders groaned, girls and young men fainted away, and the beauty of the women was altered. Every bridegroom began to laminate, and she that sat in the bridal chamber grieved, for the earth was shaken over its inhabitants, and the whole house of Jacob was covered with shame. So this, like I said, this is a prophecy that the Most High, Lord of hosts, gave to Daniel to give to Israel while he was in Babylon. And so it came to pass right here. So, with that being said, with that being said, so being what I'm doing is I'm setting up to explain to you deep things of Esau. Now we know who he is, and we know what proceeded before we get to Obadiah to cause him to do what he did in our Anti-Epiphany showed up. Was because of hatred that was between the two boys from the day they were born. And so, like I was saying, Daniel 9:25 happened in 143 BC, and it says that Esau and his descendants they wanted the land of Israel for inheritance. They didn't want no Israelites there. So I'm gonna show you that right here on the map, right quick. So we see the map right here. This is the 12 tribes right here. So it says in Daniel 9:20 in Obadiah that in verse 11 it says the day that thou stood on the other side, and the day that strangers carried away captive with forces, and foreigners entered into the gates and cast lots for Jerusalem, even thou was one of them. So when we talk about lots, you see the lots right here. You know all these lots in Asher, Naphtali, Manasseh, Ephraim, Dan, all those are lots. And all that was corded off when they came into the land with Joshua. Each one of the tribes, you see, they name inheritance. It is the names over here. And so we go to 12 lots. That's what we're talking about. So Esau wanted the land. This the vineyard. This the whole vineyard. And Esau is the grave gatherer. He's the robber. And he came in, he didn't just want to get some of what they had. He wanted all of what they had because the enmity he had. And he stole all this. And the Bible tells you that without none remained. No Israelite remained. They fled. We're gonna look at that in a minute, but they fled and went to the west coast of Africa. So here you go again over here, lots. These are lots that Obadiah is talking about. 12 lots. And Esau stole those lots. And then not only did he steal the lots, when they was taking out the land, he built the temple. David and Solomon built the temple, but he wanted a temple too. So let's look at this. So in Daniel chapter 11, verse 14. Yeah. Daniel chapter 11. It says, let's pick it up as verse 8, 7. But out of the branch of her root shall one stand up in his estate, which shall come with an army, and shall enter into the fortress of the king of North, and shall deal against them, and shall prevail, and shall also carry captive into Egypt their gods, with their princes, and with their precious vessels of silver and of gold, and he shall continue more years than the king of the north. So the king of the south shall come into his kingdom, and shall return unto his own land. For the sun shall be stirred up, and shall assemble a multitude of great forces, and one shall certainly come and overflow, pass through. Then shall he return and be stirred up, even to his fortress. And the king of the south shall be moved and clothed, and shall come forth and fight with him, even the king of the north. And he shall set forth a great multitude, but the multitude shall be given into his hand. And when he hath taken away the multitude, his heart shall be lifted up, and he shall cast down many tens of thousands, but he shall not be strengthened by you. For the king of the north shall return and shall set forth a multitude greater than the former, and shall certainly come after 30 years with a great army and with much riches. And this is the verse we're going to, 14. And in those times there shall many stand up against the king of the south. That's Ptolemy. Also the robbers of our people. It takes us back to Obadiah 5 and 6. He says, also the robbers of our people shall exalt themselves to establish the vision, but they shall fall. So what we learn, what we find out is that Esau stole land by lot and ran all the Israelites out in 143 BC. And we know that the Epiphanies destroyed the temple, Zerubbabel's temple, and the Israelites left. They fled, and Esau came back behind him, and they picked the vision up. And so you say, what vision? Well, David and Solomon built the temple. Solomon built the temple, and Zerubbabel built the temple. Now that they got the land, you know, they didn't back up the imagery that they had with Jacob from the beginning that their father had, and now they got the land, so now they building the temple. And so what you begin to understand is that the Israelites not there. They was driven out, like Daniel 9:25 had said. They was gone. And so Esau is in the land from 143 BC to 70 AD. They in the land. They stole the temple. So this is what the Most High is talking about when he said understanding the deep things of Esau. Understanding that they stole the land and built the temple, and then went in and started dealing with our records, and they fixed the records in a way to make it look like they the people of Israel. But they're not the people of Israel. And so this is where the story gets interesting at. And so I'm gonna pick it up right here, and it says, so at that point Esau built the temple in Jerusalem. So Herod built the temple, and when you understand from Nehemiah that the Edomites came and tried to assist Zerubbabel and Nehemiah and Ezra and all them when they was building Zerubbabel's temple, but they turned and told them that you have nothing to do with this temple, you have nothing to do with the land, you can't help us. So right there was showing you they had intentions on stealing the land right there, building the temple. And so Nehemiah and Ezra and all them ran them off. But they came back later when Epiphanies came and assisted them in running the Israelites out. And now they finna build a temple. So, like I said before, this is what a serious deception starts at. So, and so some of the things that you have to, I want to shine a light on. The reason why the deception is so great today is I'm gonna get into that, but before I do that, I'm gonna turn this camera around. I want to show you. I'm gonna read because the Most High, he constantly asking questions, and you have to deal with these questions when he asks them. So I'm in Isaiah 63. Okay, in Isaiah 63, and it says, who is this that cometh from Edom? So, in case you don't know who Edom is, Esau through Zephno merged with Chechen, which is the Romans, and then the Romans, after Zephno died, the Romans overtook Esau and his people, and they became one from that day forward. That's why his name is Edom. And so, like I was telling you before, people don't know that, but the fourth beast is Rome, which is Edom. Edomites is the fourth beast. So I'm in Isaiah chapter 63, verse 1. Who is this? It's the Most High asking another question. Who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Barbary? This that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength. I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save. Why art thou red in thy apparel and thy garments like like him that treadeth in the winepress, right? So he asked the question. He called him out. Esau is red. He was born, he was red all over, and he had red hair. So the Messiah asked the question, where you going with all this red? You know, he's gonna post that red up. You trying to find him, he's gonna post that red up to let you know that it's him. So I'm gonna shine light on there right quick. Before I do that, I'm gonna show you this right quick. Okay. Okay. On this map right here. I don't know if you can see it. Let's see if you can see it. Yeah, right here. This is the land of Israel. It's like these over here, land of Israel. It's the land of Israel right here. This is Edom right here. They next door neighbors right here. This is the land of Israel. So this Edom right here. And so they sitting right here. They up these are mountains. They can see right here. So when that epiphany came, like the Obadiah says, they sit there and they saw when they came in. When they came in and helped them. So he just mentioned in Isaiah 63, I'm gonna read it. He says, who art thou? No, he says, who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Bosra? Well, what is Bosra? That's the capital city right here. It's the capital city of Edom. Just like Washington, D.C., the capital city of America. So Edom, Bosra is the capital city of Edom. So he's asking the question, who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Bosra? That is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength. I that speak in righteousness, mighty to be saved. So just to make all this plain, I'm gonna go back to Obadiah right quick, and I'm gonna show you something else. Because it's another city just prominent in Edom. I'm in verse 8 of Obadiah 1. I shall not in that day, saith the Lord, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and the understanding out of the mount of Esau, and thy mighty men, O Teman, shall be dismayed to the end, that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off for slaughter. So Teman is another city. Basra is the capital city. And Teman is another as a trade city, a major city within Edom also. Both those cities, Teman and Basra, is cities within Edom. So he asked the Most High asked the question. He says, in 63, Isaiah 63, he asked the question. He says, who is this that traveling in the greatness of his strength with dyed garments, dyed in red? So that's where we're gonna pick this up at. I gotta move the camera around. I'm trying to Negro rig. Okay, here we go. Okay, so we see right here. You see right here, these are garments, red. You see the wicked scribe right here. It's a wicked scribe. See, notice how they're gonna put the red on. This is, and what we see them doing right here on all these images is that they hook wicked scriptures. They come, all of them. They got all records, and they going over cheating, hook wicked records, because that's the only way he gonna rule. See, he's always gonna show that garment. He's always gonna show that red, which the Most High just called out in Isaiah 63. Here we go right here. See that red? He's gonna show that red. So, with that being said, let me give you another one. So this Junior Caesar right here. So there you go. It's a red. Like I said, he's gonna always show that red. That's how you identify him, even to the day. the Rothschilds. They got the red shield. So we see it right here. Okay. So that being said, I want to play a little. I got something I want to play right quick. And this guy right here, what's going on with this guy is he's bringing everything up to the future. What I did was I laid the foundation so we can get to the point where we are now. And his name is David Livingston. And what he did was he made a video pertaining to identifying, we always hearing about these Illuminati families, these 14 families and all that, where he's going to explain to you the origin of these 14 families, the origins of the concept and all that. So we're going to play it. Let me get it right through.
Or getting into it, rather, this interesting story about the Rothschilds and their bloodline and their potential connection then to King Herod. And what we can say, of course, is that we know about the story about the Red Shield, that it was Moses' Angel Bauer who hanged this over his door in his Frankfurt shop, and this was later picked up by his son, Meyer Angel, and he took the name of Rothschild. But David, you were just talking about the Red Shield, and are you saying that there's a connection here to the Red Shield and to King Herod? Is that correct?
There's a connection to Edom, which means red. So the Edomites.
Edomites.
So yeah. I could tell you. I could give you the full story if you'd like. That would incorporate all the elements.
Yes, please. Yeah, it was very interesting hearing about that and what the connection is there. Yes.
Well, I'm going to give you the full picture, and I'll probably lose a lot of people on a lot of minor points, but I think it's important people get at least the gist, because if they do, they can start to identify what the important points are, and they can always learn more about it later.
Well, of course, absolutely. I think most people will be able to follow along. But yeah, please give us the story.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we have to go back to the birth of Kabbalah in Babylon, and this is a very hotly contested issue in scholarship. Scholars have different opinions about when specifically it originated and what the influences were. But I've identified it as emerging in Babylon in the 6th century BC. And the reason is because it coincides with the emergence of astrology, which becomes intertwined with Kabbalistic thought. And astrology has been proven to have emerged in the 6th century in Babylon. There's no doubt about it. And it was a practice that was ascribed to the Chaldean Magi. And this has caused a lot of confusion, even among scholars of the subject. Because the Chaldean Magi were supposedly priests of Zoroastrianism, right? But when we study the beliefs of these Magi, they have nothing to do with true Zoroastrianism. And the way we can study them is usually from references to them in many Greek historians and some Roman period historians. And the beliefs that they ascribe to them are completely different. So, the scholars have had various claims about, maybe that these guys were nuts and they were inventing everything they were saying. Right. But it's true. So there's only one man who understood the whole picture. And he, I believe, in my opinion, he was the greatest scholar of the 20th century. His name was Frans Kimon, a Belgian scholar.
Mm-hmm.
And unlike scholars today who concentrate in a specific field, he was an expert in many. So he was an expert in ancient Greek history, but he was also an expert in Middle Eastern history, in Hellenistic history, and all the periods that were required to have the broader scope to understand this period. And what he pointed out is that these magi were heretical Zoroastrianists. Have you heard of Zoroastrianism? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Definitely. This is one of the first solar cults in the Persian-Iranian region, right?
That's right. So also emerged approximately in the 6th century BC.
Yes.
But it's a very different cult from what was ascribed to these Chaldean magi.
Mm.
So the one place where you will find the beliefs identical to those ascribed to the magi is among the Kabbalists who emerged a couple of hundred centuries later. The beliefs were identical. It's the beliefs of the heretical Zoroastrianism basically involved the worship of a dying god and the same occult rituals that we've been talking about, and that combined with various astrological and other magical beliefs. So the key to understanding what obviously was the case is that these magi were actually the first Kabbalists who were misidentified as being Persians or Babylonians.
Mm-hmm.
But they were heretical Jews who invented the Kabbalah in Babylon. The ancient world did not know about the Jews for another 100 years. Even Herodotus, who wrote in the 5th century BC, described them as Phoenicians and claimed that they practiced circumcision. So Jews were not known to the world at that time. So what happened is that when Cyrus conquers Babylon, he releases the Jews and allows them to return to Palestine. So they leave Babylon. It's at this point that you find the spread of this Kabbalistic cult all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
An important place where it penetrates is in Egypt, where it evolves into what's known as Hermeticism. But most importantly, it's exported to Greece, where it's known as philosophy, or two words which means love of knowledge, but knowledge means Sophia. Again, we have that wonderful word again.
Yes.
So this is a point Hegel tried to dismiss the Persian and Iranian and Zoroastrian, Babylonian, Egyptian origins of Greek thought. And it's since his time that we have been regarding the Greeks as the birthplace of Western civilization and viewed them in isolation. But up until his time, it was always understood that the Greeks were students of the Egyptians and Babylonians and Persians.
Right.
And in fact, this was very much the theme of the Renaissance, and who were trying to reclaim what they categorized as the ancient wisdom, the persona bullshit. And but it's clear there's numerous accounts that point to the fact that the earliest Greek philosophers borrowed from the Persians, from the Chaldean Magi. So while the Kabbalah was initially developed in Babylon, it was elaborated upon in Greece. And I regarded Plato, in fact, I'm not the only one, but Kabbalists have ever since regarded Plato as the godfather, as one of the great forefathers of Kabbalistic thought.
Mm-hmm. Really?
Yes, this is common strength. And the reason they do so is because they regard him as having in turn derived his doctrines from the Kabbalists. So they believe that there's no contradiction in that. And it's true. It's easily proven that Plato, Pythagoras in particular, that all their doctrines were originally derived from the Chaldean Magi. So this explains that when Alexander conquered the Middle East, and he caused the spread of Hellenic Hellenic ideas to the Middle East, particularly philosophical ideas. So basically, he caused the spread of this Greco-Judeo-Kabbalistic cult to many parts of the world, particularly at the city of Alexandria in Egypt, which became the hub of occult thought in that period. And this is what has confused scholars, is because they call it syncretism, meaning that several different creeds and religions produced hybrids, new hybrids.
Yes.
But the truth is that it was only one single underlying occult doctrine, which had several manifestations, which were all interrelated. I think the mistake is by separating them and understanding them as they're supposed to be separate. They're not, they're just branches of the same Kabbalistic school.
Uh-huh.
And the different branches are Neoplatonism, which basically is the continued elaboration of the thought of Plato. Then there's Homericism, which I mentioned a couple of minutes ago, and then of course Gnosticism. So and Kabbalah on its own. So Neoplatonism is not a branch of philosophy as we understand it on its own, but it's the theology of the Kabbalah. Hermeticism is what's called practical Kabbalah, or more specifically, alchemy.
Right, like you have you kind of expressions of that can be even architecture and things like this, right?
Yes, of course. It's had a continuing presence. It's almost not at the heart of it all along.
Yes.
So and then if you have so you have the theology, you have the practical Kabbalah, which is magic, and then you have the actual rituals. The rituals were dying god rituals, and there are many versions of these that were practiced at that time. The most important of them was Mithraism. And Mithraism was a cult which was believed by the ancients to have been developed by the Chaldean Magi. There is no relationship whatsoever between Mithraism and Zoroastrianism. This is what has confused scholars. Despite the fact that these Mithraic Magi claim that these doctrines came from Zoroaster, what they did have is they had a pseudo-Zoroaster. They had their own occult version of Zoroaster in the same way that Gnostics have their own occult version of Jesus, like Dan Brown's Jesus. And they put occult doctrine in his mouth when they never derived from him. So what essentially Mithraism was the amalgamation of the worship of the dying god to an ancient Persian deity called Mithras. And that's how they created. So the cult is the same as the dying god worship that was being practiced throughout the Middle East, except in this case, the name applied to him was Mithras. Now, what's interesting is that Heraclitus, who was a Greek philosopher in the 6th century BC, I believe, he's the one who said that the worship of Dionysus were in imminent imitation of the rites of the Chaldeans. Now, the rites of Dionysus or Bacchus, took place where women used to go up into the hills. They would get drunk and dance and make music, and they would tear a bull to pieces and eat its flesh. Now, the bull is, in some cases, it was actually a human being sacrificed. So you see this repetition of the same exact ritual that I described earlier.
Okay.
And Heraclitus says that this was borrowed from the Magi. So again, no relation to Zoroastrianism. And the worship of Dionysus was the basis of a cult of Orphism, or attributed to Orpheus, a teacher known as Orpheus in
we're going somewhere with this information, so bear with me.
Ancient Greece. And Orphism was the basic philosophy of Pythagoras, who through him was transmitted to Plato. And according to several ancient Jewish historians, the teacher of Orpheus was Musaeus, who was supposedly Jewish. And this, I'm referring to the one I remember specifically is Aristobulus. Aristobulus was a 3rd century Jewish historian who claimed that Musaeus was the teacher of Orpheus and that Musaeus/Moses was Jewish.
Okay, right.
So back to Herod. Herod receives a visit from the Magi, announcing to him that they believe
Okay, so that was part one. So now part two there. So what he's explaining is the fact that these the 14 these families that they think they're talking about, these 14 aristocratic families that supposed to rule the world, they Edomites. And these people descended from Herod. And I'm gonna read the part two, but I'm gonna show you some images of some of the stuff he's talking about in part one. So I'm going to show you these. Show you migration. Like I said, all the drama started. The deception started with the reason why we at where we at right now today is the deception started in when the Edomites stole land. And then they got hold down records. So I'm gonna show you this migration right quick. Like I said, we went over this before, but what I'm doing is I'm overlapping everything because of what I'm gonna show you at the end. So we see right here that this migration right here. They keep on. We know that the Israelites, I'm gonna show you where the Israelites went, but we see right here these people left and they went up here, all up in Europe, all up here. You see that? From these maps. You see where they went. Then get over here. They go to temple. Let me get the temple right quick. So that's the temple right there that I was right here. I'm talking about that they built. Herod built this temple right here in and right after Epiphany came. Then they picked the vision of Daniel 11 and 14. It's telling you that they built this temple right here. So there's no Israelites there whatsoever. And they built this temple right here. And the guy was just talking about earlier, he was talking about Mithras. Now, I don't know if you remember it in the class we had before, but this Mithras right here. This Mithras. That's Mithras. So you got to ask yourself, who is Mithras? This the God right here. This that's the 16 crucified saviors I told you about. That's 16 crucified saviors. Mithras is one of them. Right there. Mithras. It's him. This the God. This the God that they was worshiping. Right here. And before Jesus came. Like I was saying, Jesus is Mithras. Jesus is hard. So this is the God that they was worshiping right here. And so what you have to understand about that is, what I'm getting ready to show you is all these different names of Lucifer. All these different names of Lucifer. It's just at different times they worshiping but it's the same deity. I'm gonna show that in a minute. But this is the God right here, Mithras, that the guy was just talking about, that they dealing with. And a lot of people they still dealing with this God right here, Mithras. So with that being said, so we see that that these Edomites, where they migrated to, and they ended up building the temple. So I'm gonna show you, which everybody should already know. I'm gonna show you what it is like me. Okay. Okay, so you see right here where the Israelites went. See right here? Same place that I showed you over there, Israel, where they the Israelites, where these Edomites went, because they went up here. Up here in Europe, this the Israelites came here, they came down here, and then over here, you see the map over here, showing you where they went. And then this is the temple right here that Solomon built. Zerubbabel came back and built on top of this temple. Then it was torn down, and that's the temple over here. I just showed you that Herod built. Then, that's two different manner of people, just like we saw when they was born. Rebecca was informed of two different manner of people. And another thing I want to show you right here, I just showed you this over and over again, these 4 men, the grouping of the 4 men that was in Egypt on the wall. Notice that the Egyptian, it's Ham, the Egyptian, then that's the Israelite, right? And then that's Cain, the sinner, Japhet. And then this the mixed man. He mixed. Call him Tamahu. But see, you know, they're not slacking on the colors or nothing. They know exactly what they're showing you. See how I read? See how I read, but like I said before, he mulatto. See that? He's mulatto. So remember that. He's mulatto. So okay. Now I'm gonna go and play this other part to this other video, because again we're going into what I'm trying to show you. It's part 2.
Announcing to him that they believe that the Messiah is born. And why? So he tries to preempt that by creating the slaughter of the innocents, and it fails. Jesus survives anyway and goes on to preach an orthodox reform of the Jewish religion, which is a return to the original teachings of Moses and exempt of the pagan traditions, of the Talmudic traditions that had been accredited to it by his time. So because they failed, I believe what happened is that they tried to kill him instead, again. But Islamic doctrine is that they failed to kill him. But they tried to kill him as a form of human sacrifice. Because in occult ritual, when you kill a victim so that he takes your sins, and they do a ritual called the laying on of hands when after you kill a victim. And this laying on of hands is in effect the rite that is done to transmit your sins onto the sacrificial victim.
Right.
So here in that, precisely the doctrine which was taught by Paul. Paul is in complete and utter contradiction to the teachings that were attributed to Jesus by everyone else, particularly Matthew.
Mm-hmm.
Herod, there's a very interesting article online by Robert Eisenman, who's one of the leading scholars of the Dead Sea Scrolls. And he points out some very fascinating, I say pretty compelling evidence that suggests that Paul was an agent of the house of Herod.
Right.
So Paul, in essence, was usurping Christianity because he was opposed by the other apostles, right? he started preaching that first of all, there was no need to adhere to the traditional practices of Jewish law, particularly circumcision. So he's recalled back to the apostles in Jerusalem who argue with him and tell him, what the heck are you teaching? They eventually, send him away. Despite that, Paul continues to grow his following in other parts of the world, and eventually his version of Christianity overtakes the one that's preached by the original apostles. And this is a version, basically an occult version. Another important point is that the Valentinians, who were the most powerful, most important Gnostic sect of his time, claimed to have received their doctrines from Paul. And it's obvious that Paul's doctrines are Gnostic. More particularly, that he taught an esoteric version of the death of Christ, particularly as a human sacrifice to receive our sins. And of course, this continues to be accepted as doctrine, but there was an esoteric understanding of it that presumably he would have taught the people who he had initiated the higher levels of his following, or something like that. But essentially, that was the Herod's version of their, probably why they continue to, essentially worship Jesus as Gnostics, because they understand that Jesus was their sacrificial victim who died for their sins.
So, okay, yeah, so this is something that came up when again, when you're talking about the dying God, there couldn't be a more, at least in that sense, than modern version of that than the Jesus Christ of the Bible, in that sense. So
exactly, in the Catholic Church.
Yes.
And more particularly Gnosticism.
Right, and again, I mean, there's been many researchers who have, if you will, pointed out and discovered that the Roman Catholic Church very much has its roots in I guess we can call it in the pagan world in that sense,
Kabbalistic tradition.
Right. Okay, so you're saying that what we have done today is just a carrying on of the same old story, right?
Absolutely. And see, this is where it becomes important, is that it seems the house of Herod was part of a network of specifically four families, including what's called the Julia Claudio dynasty of Egypt, of Rome, that produced a line of 5 emperors that succeeded Caesar. So from Augustus to Nero. And in this case, particularly Caligula, who was involved in this network.
Right.
And so the other one was a family of a town called Emesa in Syria. And this is a family of priest kings who worshipped Elagabalus, or Baal. And so this town was ruled by hereditary priest of Baal, also known as Sol Invictus. Sol Invictus is an alternate name for Mithras. The fourth family is the ruling family of Komagene in Turkey. Komagene is the first place where there is definite evidence of the worship of Mithras. And so these four families were obviously involved in the creation of Mithraism. Because there's arguments as to what is the true origin of Mithraism. Most scholars today will argue that it was a creation of the 1st century AD that falsely attributed itself to the Magi, but was entirely invented in modern times, which is largely true. But as we said, we know, as I explained, that the Magi were already the developers of Kabbalah, so it's not entirely accurate.
Okay.
So this network of families created Mithraism. And it's out of this network of families that you get the Holy Grail families.
Okay. And you tie this together also with the Rothschild dynasty, then, I guess.
Yeah, I'm going to pause it right there for a minute. I want to show you something. So right here, he was just talking about. I'm trying to break it down for you. So he was trying to right here. When you see these five these Judeo-Claudian dynasty that he's talking about. That's Augustus, Tiberius, Caligula, Claudius, and Nero. So these Edomites, this what they hid from us. These are Edomites. I told you that Alexander was Edomite, and so these men right here, when I was telling you about Mithras, right? They trying to when you understand that Baal, all that worship of the Trinity and all that, they worship Lucifer. I'm gonna put some light on that in a minute, but these five men right here, each one of them was trying to bring in. They were trying to bring in that Christianity, because Christianity is worshipable for Jesus is Zeus, which is Baal, which is Satan, and that's what Satan had already proclaimed that it before it's over, you're gonna have the whole world worshiping him. So anyway, when you come over here, I'm gonna read this out of Daniel. So this is Constantine right here. These are five men. These five men trying to get the religion of Baal, which is to sacrifice children. They doing that right now today, but they trying to get that in, but they could never get it in. So let's read Daniel and we can see what I'm talking about. So in Daniel it says, chapter 7. He had a vision of, he described 4 beasts to him, and then Gabriel came to him in verse 15 and said, and he's going to give him an interpretation. I'm going to read it. It says, I, Daniel, was grieved in my spirit in the midst of my body, and the vision of my head troubled me. I came near unto one of them that stood by and asked him the truth of all this. So he told me and made me know the interpretation of these things. These great beasts, which are four kings which shall arise out of the earth. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom even forever, even and forever and ever. Then wilt thou know the truth of the 4 beasts, which was diverse from all the others, exceedingly dreadful, whose teeth were of iron and nails of brass, which devour and break in pieces and stomp the residue of his teeth. And of the 10 horns that were in his head out of us, and of the other which came up, and before whom 3 fell, even that horn that had eyes and had a mouth that spake very great things, whose looks were more stout than his fellows. So I'm gonna stop right there. So when you understand what's going on, I'm gonna show you when you be playing. So the person you talking about that subdued 3 other kings is Constantine. Because it was the Roman Empire was divided into 4 when Alexander died. And so then for a long time, that's the beast, that's when the beast would see the woman in the head. When those giants came through the wall, Hadrian Wall, and they came to sack Rome. All these beasts, and the 4 beasts would see the woman in the head when Rome was sacked, and it was divided into 4 parts. Constantine came back, subdued 3 kings, and brought the Roman Empire back. But now he called it the Holy Roman Empire. So the beast would see the woman in the head, and it came back. So when you start talking about these 4 kings, let me break that down. It says 20, and the 10 horns that were in his head, and of the other which came up, before whom 3 fell. That's the other is Constantine. It's Constantine. He came up and he subdued 3, right? Even of that horn that had eyes and a mouth that spake very great things, whose looks were more stout than his fellows. Say, I beheld the same horn. That's Constantine. I beheld the same horn made war with the saints, prevailed against them, until the ancient of days came, and judgment was given unto the saints of the Most High. And the time came that the saints possessed the kingdom. It's Ezekiel 37. Thus he said, the 4 beasts shall be the 4 kingdoms upon the earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down, break it in pieces. And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise. See that? So this is where they get throwing us off at. It says, and the 10 horns that are of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, right? So these 10 kings came before Constantine. I'm gonna show you that in a minute. It says, and the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall after them, he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings. There you go again. That's Constantine. It was 4 of them. It was a king of the east, king of the west, king of the north, and a king of the south. Constantine subdued the king of the south, and Longinus subdued the other guy. Then Constantine subdued him. So this Constantine. So they got us looking for the 10 kings at the end. But these 10 kings came before Constantine. So then it says, 25, and he, Constantine, shall speak great words. This is Constantine seal. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and he shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and he shall think to change times and laws. That's Constantine seal. Right? And they shall be given unto his hands. Look at this. So this way you're going to know who this is. He says, and he changed times and laws, and they shall be given into his hands, Constantine, until the times, and dividing the time. So we still dealing with what Constantine did with the Holy Roman Empire. We dealing with the Roman Empire. It was gone. When Constantine came, when he concocted everything at the Constantine seal and hooked with our records and brought about Jesus, which is Lucifer. So that's still in place to the day. So look what it says, 26. But the judgment is set, and they shall take away his kingdom. Constantine kingdom. We still dealing with it. We still dealing with what he set up. He says when he raised these saints up out of their graves in Ezekiel 37, 26 says, but the judgment shall be set, and they shall take away his kingdom and dominion and consume it and destroy it until the end. That's Constantine kingdom, what he set up. We're still dealing with it. It says, and the kingdom of the dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High, whose kingdom is the everlasting kingdom, and is the everlasting kingdom, and all dominions shall serve and obey him. Here too is the end of the matter. As for me, Daniel, my condemnation much troubled me, and my countenance changed in me, but I kept the matter in my heart. Okay, so with that being said, I want to go back around into this. I'm going to show you some stuff, and then I'm going to let the rest of that play. So, before we go over there, I want to show you this right here. You go these 4 men again right here. And what I want to show you, because this is profound. I showed you that's Israelites. That's Japhet. That's Ham. And that's Canaan. So Esau ain't on here. Esau ain't on here. I just want you to see that. So anyway, go back over here, and I'm gonna show you some stuff right here that's gonna help add up a lot of this stuff. So on these images right here. Let's see what I got. Okay. Yeah, so on these images over right here, this is an origin, in case you ain't figured it out. And that's what I was reading in let me read it right here. Going somewhere with this. So it says, I'm in the book of Adam and Eve. It says, it says, after Cain had gone down to the land of dark sorrow, and his children multiplied, there was one of them whose name was Tubal, son of Lamech the blind, who slew Cain. Satan came to Tubal in his childhood and made a bride of trumpets and horns, string instruments, cymbals, and pastries, and lyres, and harps, and flutes, and Gunan played them at all times, at every hour. And when he played them, Satan came to them so that from among them were heard beautiful, sweet sounds that seized the heart with delight. Then he gathered many crowds to play on them, and when they had played, it greatly pleased the children of Cain, who fanned themselves with flames of sin among themselves. Remember this right here. Then he gathered many crowds to play on them, and when they played, the greater pleased the children of Cain to fan themselves the flame of sin among themselves, and they burn with fire while Satan inflamed his Lucifer, while Lucifer inflamed their hearts with one another and lust increased among them. Lucifer also taught Tubal-Cain to make strong drink out of corn. Tubal used this to bring together crowds upon crowds of houses of drink, and he brought them to their hands all kinds of fruit and flowers, and they drank together. Tubal did this to multiply sin greatly. He also acted with pride and taught the children of Cain to commit all manner of gross wickedness which they did not know until then, and he put them up to all kinds of deeds which they did not know before. Then said Lucifer, when Lucifer saw that they obeyed Tubal and listened to him and everything that he told them, he rejoiced greatly, and he increased Tubal's understanding until he took iron and made weapons of war. Then when they were drunk, hatred and murder increased among them. One man would use violence against another, and Lucifer would teach him evil in that one man would take the other man's children and defile them before him. And when men saw that they were vanquished and saw that others were not beaten, those who were beaten came to Tubal and took refuge with him and made him part of his group. Then sin increased among them greatly until a man married his own sister or daughter or mother or others, or daughter of his father's sister, first cousin, so that there was no more distinction of relationship, and they could no longer discern what was sin and what was not. They always were wicked, and the earth was defiled with sin, and they angered God, the judge who had created them. The Tubal gathered together group to group and played on the horns and on all other instruments we have already mentioned, and at the foot of the mountain, they did this so to the children of Seth who were on the holy mountain were here, so they could hear it. They're playing all this music and they're doing all this trying to entice Adam's children off the top of this mountain. They're up on the sun. So anyway, so we see right here, it's these Greeks. It's the Greeks that are doing this. They've been doing it all the way to today. They're still doing it today. You see what I just read is what's going on right here, right? And then I want to show you this about the red garment. See, it's supposed to be Jacob wrestling with Michael, but I want to show you something. In the Illuminati and the satanic rituals and satanic circles, two men bump together right here. It's a homosexual act. They bumping together right there. But also, he got on a red cape. So now what they're showing you, Esau wrestling with Mike. But that's all. It's a homosexual act. Anyway, so you come over here and you see these are people that you've been seeing in Jerusalem right now. Come on over here. These are people you're seeing in Jerusalem right now. That's an abomination, right? These are people I just showed you that went up into Europe. And I'm going to show you a reason why they look like they look right here. Because when they left, they didn't look like this. They look like this right here. This is Syrian right here. This is Syrian. This how they look. They mulattoes. You get one more picture. These people right here, this how the whole Middle East was. Right here. This how the whole Middle East looked before these people came. This how the Middle East looked like that. There were black folks all over the way, all over the place. And so when you go back and look at those 4 men I was showing you that the Egyptians had on the wall, when the Caucasian or the people that's the Most High turning white would intermingle with them, they come out like this. They got a lighter complexion face, but the hair give them away. Because it's a mixture of they long white hair, they long hair, and then the woolly hair, and then you get this kind of hair. So this how the people looked at. I showed you that left. Can you see that? Yeah. So this how they looked right here. When they left, when they went up into Europe, the Edomites. This how they looked when they went up into Europe. So we remember that. So let me play the rest of this and then we will probably get to close out. So
the Rothschild dynasty is a bit of a mystery, but it's the key person. According to people like Dan Brown, and Dan Brown basically all he did was fictionalize a book called The Holy Blood, Holy Grail, and this book claims that there's secretly an called underground which claims descent from the Merovingian kings of France,
Yes.
and that these Merovingians were supposedly secret descendants of Jesus through Mary Magdalene. And the person that this bloodline is transmitted into European aristocracy is Guillaume de Boulogne, or William of Boulogne, who's the subject of several prominent romances. And he supposedly, according to the legends that are circulated in pulp, was the son of a Jewish exarch named Makir. Because supposedly there was a split. The exarchs were traditional rulers of the Jewish communities in the Middle East, who were continued to be headquartered in Baghdad, actually, which was near Babylon. But in Persian society and in Islamic society, the Jews were allowed to govern themselves within their own communities, but subject ultimately to the authority of the Islamic State. So they were appointing their own rulers called exarchs who had to be able to trace their descent back to David. So they were a Davidic line. And there was a split at some point. And out of this split, the one who failed to push his claim for succession to the role of exarch was banished to quote unquote the West. And the claim is that he went to France. And there he intermarried with in fact, according to this is mentioned in a couple of Kabbalistic books from the 13th to 14th centuries, which claim that he essentially intermarried or held relations with the family of Charlemagne. And I would understand that this is the reason why Charlemagne is the most important figure. Essentially, he marks the birth of Europe.
Yes.
So what I followed is the bloodlines that I followed is that after this intermarriage between these four families, they break off into two different branches. And one important branch, where did they go? It wasn't some important direction. Anyway, right, of course. One important branch continues. They produce a line of Roman emperors, because what's important is that this Julian Claudio dynasty were the ones who attempted to try to make sun worship the official religion of the Roman Empire. Which is right? It's Kabbalah. This is Babylonian. This is the Babylonian cult, right? Where the emperor or / king is the incarnation through sacred ritual of the sun god.
Right.
So this is what they were trying to institute. But they failed to do that. But their descendants, through this network, produced a line of Roman emperors who repeatedly tried to impose the worship of Sol Invictus on the Roman Empire.
Mm-hmm.
Like Marcus Aurelius. They never fully managed to do so, but they eventually do in Constantine, who essentially finally succeeds in the plot of Herod in replacing Christianity with the worship of Mithras / Sol Invictus. And they do by making Catholicism the official version of Christianity.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so these two branches of his family continue to be separated until they're finally reunited in the St. Arnulf. Bishop of Metz, I think, something like that, who is, I can't remember his precise relation, he's something like the great-grandfather, great-great-grandfather of Charlemagne.
Okay.
And so now Charlemagne, then his descendants intermarry with supposedly this family of the Exarch. The most important person at this point is of this reconnection of these various strains is Guillaume de Galon. And this is the point of Da Vinci Code and the Holy Blood Holy Grail, is that this is the entry point of this so-called Davidic and Jewish bloodline into European aristocracy. This is the point where it becomes sacred.
Okay, I see. And this is, this has been carried on in that sense. I mean, I think that the recent, incarnation, if you will, of this now is a guy called Pierre Plantard. Have you heard of him?
Right, exactly. That's the claim.
Yes.
There are several, but they're, as scholars have pointed out, is that almost all European aristocracy can trace their descent to Charlemagne.
Right.
He's kind of like the beginning point of these European bloodlines. But there's something else very, very intriguing that I discovered. And what happens is that this bloodline becomes Eleanor of Aquitaine, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who marries Henry, would it be Henry I of England, who become the Plantagenet dynasty of England.
Mm-hmm.
More importantly, they're related to the Scottish family, the Scottish royalty. And the Scottish royalty begins with, in this story, it begins with Malcolm III of Scotland marries Agatha of Bulgaria. And this is very intriguing. Because this is where we get into the point of the lost tribes. And this is very important. And it also gets back to the point of the Edomites and explains the significance of the Edomites. The lost tribes, supposedly, the Assyrians, the Assyrians carried out their conquest of the early Israelites in two stages. Because the Israelites were divided into two kingdoms, the kingdom of Israel and the kingdom of Judah, a smaller kingdom composed of the tribe of Judah and Benjamin. And the kingdom of Israel comprised the remaining 10 tribes. The first conquest took place about 100 years before the second, when the kingdom of Israel was conquered by the Israelites, and they were taken and relocated to Medea, which is, I believe, northern Iran, among the Medes, another important.
Yes, a very interesting group, yes.
And then from that point on, they're supposedly lost.
Okay. Okay, so
Hi, I'm attorney Gordon Kern. As you know, Hurricane Laura caused devastating damages to this community. Lives were affected, and homes and buildings were destroyed. In Louisiana, your insurance company has a responsibility to kindly address and pay your claim.
so like I was saying before, the reason why this deception is so great is that we don't know, most people don't know, people on the line know this, but people don't know that serpent slept with Eve in the garden, got Cain. Cain's descendants came through the flood and got on the boat. And came through the flood. It was Japhet. And then they don't know that Esau intermingled with the Romans and became Edom. You got the 4 beasts is Edom. I'm gonna read this right quick. You know, I'm at the end. I gotta show you. So 9 says, chapter 9 of Joshua, verses 1 through 8. At that time, in the 5th year, after the children of Israel had passed over Jordan, after the children of Israel had rested from their after they had rested from their war with the Canaanites, at the time of great and severe battle arose between Edom and the children of Checham, and the children of Checham fought against Edom. And Obadiah, king of Checham, went forth in that year, that is in the 31st year of his reign, and with a great force with him of mighty men and children of Checham, and he went to Seir, where Esau dwelled, to fight against the children of Esau. Hadad, the king of Edom, heard of his report and went forth to meet him with a heavy people and a strong force, and engaged in battle with him in the fields of Edom. And the hand of Checham prevailed over the children of Esau, and the children of Checham slew the children of Esau, 220,000 men, and all the children of Esau fled from before them. And the children of Checham pursued them, and they reached Hadad, king of Edom, who was running before them, and they caught him alive and brought him to Obadiah, king of Checham. And Obadiah ordered him to be slain. And Hadad, king of Edom, died in the 48th year of his reign. And the children of Checham continued their pursuit of Edom, and they smote them with a great slaughter. And Edom became subject to the children of Checham. And the children of Checham ruled over Edom. And Edom became under the hand of the children of Checham, and became one kingdom from that day. So what you have to understand, the 4 beasts is Edom. Rome, the Edomites and the Romans came together and became one kingdom. That's the 4 beasts. And so that's one of the things that they deceived us on. And then one more is that Satan and Lucifer are 2 different beings. Satan is hired. Satan was hired by he's employed by the Most High, whereas Lucifer is fighting against the Most High's kingdom. But Satan is part of it. He sends Satan out to tempt people, challenge people, and all that. But Lucifer is the one that is 2 different beings. And so, like I was saying before, Lucifer got children. What they did is use Lucifer, Satan as a scapegoat to hide who Lucifer is. And so, like I said, the king of Babylon, when they talk about the king of Tyre and the king of Babylon in Ezekiel, that's Satan. And I showed you that all these 16 crucified saviors, they Satan. People just worship him in a different name at certain times, but it's him. So then when you understand that, when they, at the Council of Nicaea, they had to come up with a name from the deity when they concocted JC. And they had to come up with a name, and they used those 16 crucified saviors, and they ended up with Zeus and Krishna. Those are the 2 most popular ones. Well, Zeus is Baal. Baal is Satan, Lucifer. So that's what Jesus is. It's Jesus. So like the man was showing you, they originally, the Edomites from the first 5 Caesars, they was trying to get the sun worship, because Satan is the morning star. That's what the sun worship is. That's who Pharaoh is. The sun, which is the morning star. So all that time they were trying to get that in there, but they couldn't get it in. Then finally, when Constantine came on the scene, Constantine got it in, and he worked it in. And they know this. They know who they worship. They just got us fooled to who they worship. So, with all that being said, and now I want to show you that you keep hearing how that the king of England and the King James and all these are black people, black folks, you know, and all that. They keep saying that, so I'm gonna show you why they're saying it. So here we go. These people that left, I showed you that left Israel and went all up in Europe, and they was mulattoes. Here you go, right here. You're gonna look at it. You see that right there? All these women are queens, in Europe, and they whited out though. after a couple of generations, they ended. I'm gonna show you what they look like now. Let me see what these look like. Okay, so see that? All these women, see they mulattoes. But see how they dress? They queens. They from they was queens of England. Right here. They all mulattoes. See her? She got the black features. I showed you how Caesarion looked it. And then I showed you how I read how that Absalom, when Joab was after him, Absalom was a mingled seed. And he got caught up in that tree. He had the hair like this. He had the woolly hair long, but it's mixed with their hair, so it's long, but it's woolly. It's a mulatto. See that? There you go. All over. Right here. See there? This who went into Europe. And then that's why Hitler was trying to call himself wiping them out, because he said they brought the Negro feature there to Egypt, to Europe, and they started intermingling with the aristocratic families. And that's what you got right here. So then you come over here and show you. I mean, we've been looking at this stuff, but we didn't connect the dots, because we're looking at it every day, because they got mulattoes all over the place now. So see right there, you go to me. See that? Can you see that? Okay, so see that? See how the men look? See that how? See that how? Red, you got the red hair, just like Esau was when he was born, but see how they look now? These are the people that's in Britain. Right here. That's how they look. Right? So watch this here. And then so after a couple of generations, I'll show you what they look like. Yeah. Okay. So after a couple of generations, this is what they look like. See, we saw how they started out over there. When they came in from back in 70 AD, when they was giving safe passage, they went to all these different European countries, and then this is what they look like now. They didn't made a full circle. That came back around. This is what they look like. Came back around. Right? And so, like I said, the Most High asked the question, who is this that's going forth in red? Let me show you this right here. This Queen Isabella, like I was saying before. See this in her, she got the features. She got the black features, Negro features in her. She got the red hair, but she got the features in it. And these Britain, queens from Britain. That's Queen Isabella that sent out sent Columbus out with the 3 ships. And the reason she sent the 3 ships out, because the prophecy of Ezekiel 35 was on them. They said the sword was gonna follow them wherever they went. So all the countries was kicking them out of all their countries. They wanted a land they can go to where nobody gonna bother them. So she sent Columbus in 3 ships looking for some land. They found America. Supposedly found America, but they was looking for land to try to get them the curses that the Most High had on them, trying to get it off of them. So, like he said, he asked the question, why thou red, right? And we know Esau was born red, hairy all over. So let me show you this, and then I'm gonna close out. So when you understand, Most High told, Most High traced Adam's lineage. He traced Adam's lineage through the male, but Esau traced his lineage through the female, and he traced through the red-headed. He married those giant women or Canaanite women with the red hair, and that's why he traced his lineage. He traced his lineage through the woman, and so this is what the guy was talking about when I played those 2 little episodes. It's always come back around to this red-headed woman, and then it's right in our face. There you go, all of them. It's not just red hair, they got 5 red hair. Did you see their complexion? I hear these queens that was on the throne. So they made a full circle. They went from the mulattoes, came right back around and made a full circle. Here they go. Right here. See? They got the red hair with the green eyes. See that? All of them. Made a full circle. And so I'm gonna show you some of the men after they white it out. Then you open up for some Q&A. So here we go. So we go to me. So like I said, they ended up started out mulattoes, but then you got over there, and they started marrying into those European races, but those rich scattered families, and they came right back around. The mulatto went away. See, it is over here. Like I said, we've been looking right at it. See, they don't see that. There's not no. That's mingled hair. Yeah, almost an afro. See them? We went through a process, and they whited out. Now we're looking at them now. They white, but they started out mulattoes. And so anyway, I put this up here right here to show you how they do it. See now, this is the picture they got of Jesus, right? But see. Now, that's the truth right there in your face, but looking all over. See that? See his hair? Straight up Edomite. You make sure they see how they're doing it. Straight up Edomite. That's gentleman right there. Okay. So, with that being said, I'm going to open it up for some Q&A. Okay, anybody got anything? Hello?
We are here.
Okay. Yeah. Cat got y'all done? I thought my thing was working. So everybody got any comments or questions?
I just want to say that you had my full attention on this one.
Okay. Okay, you get anything out of it?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Anybody got anything? Anybody else got anything? Prophetess, you ain't got nothing? Michelle, you ain't got nothing?
Shalom, everyone.
Shalom, everyone.
Yeah.
Oh, we're echoing.
We're echoing.
Yeah, what?
I'm getting a
I'm getting
feedback.
a feedback.
Okay, let me see what that could be. Say something now.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Okay. Oh
Okay.
no, it's happening. It's still happening, but that's okay. I would just like to say that was a great class,
That was a great
and
class.
from the
And
beginning
from the
we
beginning,
were
we
whited out,
were whited
starting
out,
on
starting
the boat.
the boat.
From them bringing us over
From
as
them bringing
slaves,
us over as slaves.
That's right.
you know, we were black queens,
we were black queens,
and
Right.
and
ended up being slaves. That was raped by the Gentiles. And
Right.
and today, again, they hate us, but they are us.
But they are us.
Right. You gotta keep in mind that he Mosiah is following the lineage through the man.
Right.
So
Right.
That's important to understand. That's why I say Esau. He like I said, he married into. He became one with Chechen, which is Cain's descendants. So they perverted, and so even to the point to where they tracing their lineage through the woman.
Mm.
But that's not how it works because
Mm-hmm.
the man has a Y, what they call that? He have an X and a Y chromosome, and so you have to trace your lineage to the man.
Right.
That's how the Messiah.
Right.
Yeah. He'll guard a house. The male is the one at the house.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
But great class.
Okay.
Shalom.
Okay.
Oh my God. Thank God you can hear me. Okay.
Thank God you can hear me. Okay.
Fantastic class.
Okay.
If Esau
Esau
was murdered at the
was
funeral of
murdered at the
Jacob,
funeral of Jacob,
then Esau's descendants are the ones that carried out the plans that took place and caused us to be brought over here on ships. Is that what you're saying?
Right.
Is that what you're saying?
Right. They passed the hatred down. They made sure that, like I said, it's been a interruption in our history, but their history ain't been interrupted.
Mm.
And that the hatred that I was expounding on tonight, it's been passed down to the day. That's why I was saying when people understand the hatred that they have for us, that's the reason why the transatlantic slave trade was so horrible.
Mm.
Right.
They hate us. They own the ships. It was Edomites that would control the whole transatlantic slave trade.
Mm-hmm.
The captains on the ship, the owners of the ships, was all Edomites.
Okay. I always wondered why they treated us so horrible.
Right.
And you pointed out that I guess Jacob's seed had put them in chains and fetters
Right.
at one point,
Right.
and they came back and did the same thing to us.
Right. And it's a double whammy because They fathers was put in chains too. The fallen angels. You remember when he sent the 7 angels down, Michael, Gabriel, and Raphael, they bound all them and put them in chains, put them in darkness. So
Right.
you got a remnant of them. So it's a double whammy that was on us. That's the reason why the transatlantic slave trade was so horrendous.
So horrendous.
Now, their fathers were put in chains. Their fathers were put in chains, and they were put in chains. Joseph put Zephano and some of his brothers in chains in Egypt. And they was waiting on the opportunity to do it to us. They ain't forgot. It's like yesterday to them. So yeah, that's what that is.
Okay.
It ain't just happen. We got put, they put a yoke of iron around our neck, like Deuteronomy 28 tell you. They put a yoke of iron around our neck because it was a yoke of iron put around their neck. And they fathers necks.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. When you highlight the mulatto people,
Right.
what did they serve as a buffer? Were they in some kind of way hiding the seed of Esau? And what I mean by that is,
Yeah. They was hiding it, but at the same time, they married into those aristocratic families for the wealth part of it.
yes.
And then by them marrying into them, 2 or 3 generations later, they don't look. You don't see the Negro part in them no more.
Right.
And that's what Hitler was talking about. That's what Hitler was trying to kill them off for. He said that they had, he believed in the Aryan race, and he said that those people were tainted because of, they had Negro in them, and that's what he's talking about. When the Edomites came there, when they left in 70 AD, he came in and settled in all those European countries.
Is there a connection between the Lord taking the melanin from Cain and that being a way to recognize him, and then creating the mulatto people, which would not allow him to stand out so much?
No. It's like I was saying before, when you understand the Most High law, statutes, and judgments and all that, it's just certain things that stick out. But they made it good. That's like they came over with white supremacy. Well, we know when the Most High cursed somebody, he turned right. So how in the hell is white supremacy, having white skin superior?
Right.
So what he got a problem with people that's making something bad good. That's what these people do. That's what he mean by being perverted. He said he made a woman for the man, but they want another man. He made the man for the woman, and the woman want another man. The woman want another woman.
Right.
That's who they are.
Right.
They got a perverted spirit in them. That's how you know he ain't brought them in nowhere, because that's part of their DNA. That's part of who they are. Like I said, you go and take them down to the river and dip them in the river to be baptized. All you got is a wet demon.
Come on now.
Yeah, you ain't got ain't nothing happen.
Last
a wet demon.
Point.
When Cain had the melanin taken away from him, and he said people are going to recognize him. What was he talking about?
He was, like I was showing you on the poster, all the original people that was over in that area was all dark-skinned people.
Okay.
And so you got somebody, he took the melanin out of them, everybody gonna recognize it.
Okay.
He can't hide it. He can't hide himself.
Right. Last point. So again, back to the mulatto people.
Right.
Do you feel that the mulatto people allowed Cain to blend in and not stand out so much? No.
The mulatto people came from Cain intermingling with the people of color.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Cain is him and his descendants and other people that the Most High cursed is what brought about the mulatto, the Canaanite and all them, because Canaan was cursed.
Right. Just like Esau was murdered at the funeral of Jacob. However, his descendants carried out the wickedness against the people of God. So when it comes to
Right.
Cain, the way that I'm thinking, Cain would be stark white with no melanin. He would be easily recognizable.
Right.
But as you go from the generation of Cain being recognized to his seed mingling with the black people, you wouldn't readily be able to tell that that's Cain's seed.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Great lesson. I am
Okay.
going to watch it again and take some notes.
Okay.
Mm.
Anybody else? Okay. So let me see that. Okay, yeah. So if anybody else have anything? Yeah, we had 2 hours and 30 minutes. So I'm gonna shut it off right here. Let me see if I can come up with something, a little bit of this line. There we go. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's the sound.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm gonna say shalom. And I'm gonna see y'all Friday at 8 o'clock.
All right. Tomorrow,
Okay.
8 o'clock.
Shalom.
Okay. Shalom.